Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Room 104, Season 1, Episode 5. It's called The Internet. I don't know why I said that so ominously, but it felt... Do you know what it is? I think it's IT crowd. That's all I could think of there in my head for a second, so I just had to pause and say it with a dramatic effect. But yeah, so full spoilers for the episode as always, and this of course is the Room 104 anthology show, where each episode takes place in the same hotel room, but is otherwise a complete anthology with standalone stories. This one, upon starting the episode, of course immediately noticed, oh wait, it's in 4x3, what's going on? And then it said 1997, and I went, oh, very good. I see what you've done there.
I like that it said the year, because that implies that, all the others are current unless told otherwise now.
Yeah, more or
It's the
less.
rules.
Yeah, I think the rest of them are kind of like vaguely just now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like no pinpointing anything, but just vaguely just now. Because even this isn't that specific. It's just 97. That part of the 90s is basically what it's saying. It makes me wonder though if we get one that's set even further back, like we get a black and white episode later on.
Oh, that'd be cool. In the same way that this used the 4x3.
Yeah, I could see that happening later on.
Yeah.
This episode is what I'm going to call the most terrifying episode of television I have ever seen. Mainly because the horror that is told within is something I mean not exactly, but the gist of it I have experienced. And
I think many of us have.
many of us, our generation, I think specifically, seem to go through this a lot. And I can only imagine it's worse in 1997, where it's a younger mainstream.
I think
thing.
that's why it was set in 97, because you could probably tell this story today, but you'd have to get away with it. It's a little bit more convincing that the parents are a little bit dumber.
I don't know.
Okay, it still happens. I'm sure it does, but it's less likely.
Other than one line of dialogue, I could totally see my mother being guilty of everything else that happens in this episode.
Well, your mother is still stuck in the 90s, apparently.
Of course she is. Honestly, I think a lot of people her age are.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I think it wouldn't surprise me like if it was like something like, I don't know, 70% of people over 50 are just, I don't even want to touch a computer. Like I've had my mother ask me to order things online for friends who don't know how to do it. Like that's how.
Okay, I've never experienced that far.
Oh yeah, no, like seriously, this is not shocking to me at all. There is one joke in this episode about, like what windows do you see? Oh, they're all open. It's cold. Kind of,
Yeah.
There's a line like that. Yeah, I don't think that would happen for most people now. I think most people at least understand the jargon of what a window is. I'd hope so anyway. But what this
Maybe
episode
we're
is,
just optimistic.
yeah, what this episode is though, is basically the person living in the room is Anish, and he is a writer who's got a deal with. He's got a meeting with a publisher this coming weekend. So he's almost finished his book. He wants to have it finished. But oh no, he's left his laptop somewhere. He looks around for it, but then he realises, oh, he probably left it at his mother's house where he was recently. I mean, a good enough distance that he can't just go pick it up, but that's maybe the last sort of main location he was before he went on a bus or whatever. And they already actually had him phone his mother and leave like a message on the answer machine just saying, I've got to a motel, I've got a meeting on Friday, I'm really excited, blah, 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 blah. So he phones her again, and he's like, oh, is my computer there? And there's a confusion right away because she doesn't even understand that a laptop's...
Well, I mean, first it's just he's leaving messages, and it goes all
Sure.
night.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Because there's that great moment where it finally rings in the morning, and he just jumps in. He's like, "Where were you?" She's just like, Mum speak. Oh, I was at work, then went to shops, then went to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crack
And
joke.
of course, the first sign of trouble is the I left you several messages. What were on the answer machine I got you for like Christmas? Oh, I don't know how to use that. First sign of trouble.
Yeah.
First sign of trouble. So basically, he needs to get his book. So he wants her to email him his book, to copy the text into an email, send it to him so he can then work on it from where he is. Go to a computer cafe or something like that, I imagine is what his plan is.
Yeah.
Fine plan. But he has to talk his mother, who doesn't even know what a laptop looks like, over the phone how to do that. And as soon as it started, like, I was like, okay, this is what this episode's going to be about. As soon as I realised this was what it was, I started to cringe really hard because so much of it.
I don't think I've ever been led to hate a woman so fast on any TV show. You know, any movie. I don't think I've ever hated a character as quickly as I did.
Yeah, not in a serious way.
No, but you know,
yeah.
every time she says, "Well, I'm like, oh." You know, you project all those times that you've had to do this yourself. You're projecting it all onto it. It's like,
yeah, and
I could kill you.
And to be fair, I'm sure I haven't, and I assume you haven't. I've ever been in a situation where it's going to ruin the biggest meeting of your career.
No.
Which is the position he's in if this does not go through as planned. And so, sure enough, he's asking her to boot up the computer. He has to describe what the power button looks like. He has to, turn it on this way.
Yeah, I'd hope your mother could get that far. Okay, let's go back a step. I'd hope she'd know what a laptop looks like.
She would. She knows what a laptop looks like.
That was the first step.
Yeah, no, she knows what a laptop looks like. So at the very least, she does know that, and she wouldn't then go, "Oh, how did they get it in such a small thing? Oh, this is really impressive."
Yeah, that was where it was like, "Oh, this is super 90s."
Right. Yeah, that's the part that feels like it has to be set in '97. But the rest of it, other than that one Windows joke about her thinking he means the house windows, I can completely buy is equally possible in today's landscape. I completely buy it. So it's like, yeah, oh, you need to double click. That's a window, and she's so confused she can't read the text. And there's a great moment where he's like, "Oh, you can change the screen display in settings." Never mind. Like, he doesn't even wait for her to respond. He's just like,
Yeah,
you know what?
like,
No, bad idea.
I'm not doing that.
Bad idea. That's just a whole other
He's just
thing.
like, from memory, which one is it?
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's the fourth one down on the left, or whatever it is, and like,
And then you could just hear her going 1,
yeah.
2. I was like, oh my god, it's just 4. Just count to 4. I'm so in his head when he's like this.
And then, of course, she gets the document up, and he starts describing the select all, copy, and of course you're following along and you're getting okay, because obviously when she does Control C, right, for copy, right?
Command. It was a Mac.
Command, Control, same difference. Just
put it out there.
She gets all, she's like, oh, nothing happened, and it's like, of course nothing happened, because we know that nothing happens when it does something in the background, but you don't actually see anything visually happen. So she thinks it's not working or whatever. But as soon as she had it, had Control All, as soon as she had that, I was like, oh no. Now, of course, these days, I think any writer worth anything would have a cloud save and things like that. Would have backups. You don't just have one copy of something.
Rule of thumb: doesn't exist unless it's in 3 separate places.
Yes, your main one, your one to use, your one to lose, and your backup.
Yes,
that's the rule, and that goes for anything. So someone who has to work with footage and records footage, like that's the rule. You have it on
your standard internal hard drive where you do everything.
Yeah.
Your cloud, and then a removable drive of some sort, whether that be a memory stick or an external hard drive, anything.
Yes, and the only way that all 3 of them will go is if it's the apocalypse. In which point, why do you care? So.
Exactly.
But of course, 97, no such thing as a cloud, or at least not in no mainstream way, certainly. Right. I'm sure some nerd's going to point out that yeah, technically there was a cloud service in 97. I'm sure if you hunted for it, I'm sure it existed, but mainstream, knowledgeable use, no.
Yes, definitely no Dropbox.
No Dropbox, certainly. No Google Drive. Was Google a thing in 97 yet?
Just about, maybe.
I think maybe a few years later before Google popped into the map, but regardless, Control All. And then she says it all went away. And of course he's like, right, listen to me very carefully. And he's going to tell it to do Control.
Do you know what this is like? In a movie where it's like they've got to talk a bomb disposal over the phone. This is his attitude. He's like, very carefully, every movement matters.
Yeah, but of course in this case the bomb's his book. And of course, she's like, oh, a box has popped up saying, asking me to save. And you can just, like, this is the thing, and maybe this only works for people who are semi-knowledgeable with computers, but I started to panic at the same time. Because it's like, no, don't you save. Don't you save. That is when it's unrecoverable, right?
Yeah.
Just don't do it. Don't do
And
it.
you can hear him pleading, "Go, no, don't press it, Mom, stop, don't press it, don't do it."
And again, it's not actually. I mean, I say it's uncoverable. It's uncoverable. It's certainly for her to do it over the phone. It's uncoverable. I mean, there is ways to go in and look at previous versions of save files and like which is why his next
this woman can't open a Word document. Without.
Which is why his next plan after this is go to the goddamn computer shop and hand it to someone who knows what they're doing. That's his next part of the plan. But it's just there's this sinking, this crushing, and she says it, and this is the thing that happens throughout the whole conversation. Is she keeps not listening to him. She keeps like being distracted. She's chopping vegetables. She's doing other things as she's talking to him. She's acting very nonchalantly about how important this stuff is. She's not really taking it seriously. And during this, she's not listening to him, not to save it. She's like, "Oh, no, it says to save. I'll save it for you." Like she thinks that's a good thing. She's convinced that's a good thing. So she presses the save button, and it's infuriating.
And then he flips.
And then
understandably so.
And then he flips. Of course, throughout all this conversation, there's a portion where the title of the book comes up, and it's "Gently Through the Current" is the title.
Yeah.
And she doesn't quite get it because it's a metaphor. She's like, "Oh, it's not to the point enough." Because later on, she starts talking later on about how, "Oh, when you were 12, you wrote a future dinosaur story or something like that it was called." She liked that name.
To the point, told you what you were getting.
Yeah. Dinosaur from the future, which is funny because dinosaurs are usually from the past. I was just channeling what I thought she thought about it. Right, that wasn't actually a line from the show. I was just kind of
getting in her head.
Why she's impressed with it? Me, I'm just like, he's got lasers. There's a dinosaur wearing laser helmets and things. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm thinking it was a T-Rex, but it still had it had robotic arms, but they were still tiny.
Mecha Rex.
Yeah, but still tiny arms. That's important because otherwise it's not funny.
Okay. So, so title of the book, and he talks about how it's about gently going through life and actually adjusting to the things you need to adjust to, rather than being stubborn or anything like that. So he brings that, and I'm like, and as soon as he mentioned that, I'm like, okay, I feel like the theme of the book that he's writing is going to be a factor in what the episode's going to be ultimately about.
Of course.
It was kind of telegraphed in that sense. That said, the conversation did go in a way that I did not expect. I think it actually takes a very sort of a turn that I don't think anyone expects, because she gets apologetic, but only after she kind of flips out back at him.
Yeah.
And she sort of says, I mean, mother, I like did this, I did that. In fact, I think it's very notable, actually. At one point, she talks about actually giving birth. She actually has, there's like a throwaway comment when she's giving him into trouble for like doing something or saying something over the phone, where she says, "Oh, you don't want to be a mother and like actually have to push you out," which I think is actually a really neat little line, because it sets up the sort of maybe like a little bit of guilt over saying that, because even in this very conversation, she lied about it.
Yeah.
So then she accidentally compares him to someone else. She says, "Oh, you're just like her."
Yeah.
And of course,
immediately he's like, "Who's her?"
Yeah, and of course I'm like, "Who's her? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Who's her?"
We don't know of any her. We've not heard of anyone else.
And like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, like, is this about to get weird? Like, because obviously this show's had weird elements in some of the episodes. Like, is this where it's going to bring in something else that's strange? Is there someone else in the room? Is there something else going on? Or I don't know. But it turns out to be a lot more simple than that. It's basically just that he's actually adopted. That his mother was someone she knew and acted very much like him. Very smart, but very, very headstrong, kind of. Because here he's... And the funny thing is like, if I'm going to make a complaint about the episode, because obviously he ultimately... Like, the conversation gets emotional. He tells her he loves her. Quite a touching scene, actually. It's very well acted. In fact, his acting throughout the whole thing's very good, because it's very reactionary to what's going on. He's worrying, he's panicking.
He's carrying the whole thing.
He is. Well, half of it. I'd say she's also very good, because even though you only ever hear her voice, you very quickly get a sense of her character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But also the writing as well, of course. But so where was I going with that? I've lost track. I went down the acting.
It was nice. They had the nice moment.
They had a nice moment.
I don't know where you were going after that. I can't read your mind.
Damn it. Anyway, so they had a nice moment. And hang up. And obviously it ends with him kind of learning his own lesson from his book that he was talking about, and he decides to try and write it. Sort of, you know, we end with that scene where he's visualizing it on the ceiling, and he's sort of writing it, and he what he's writing, because it goes just slow enough that you can kind of read what he's writing, which is basically about a mother and about her going with the flow and her going with the current gently. That's what his mother did, as opposed to the other, you know, his natural mother who didn't and was kind of more like him, and like he was acting like this was all or nothing with this book.
See, this is where the ending for me, I wasn't necessarily sure he was continuing writing his book, but more, you know, just visualizing doing something, almost like he had this moment with his mother, and it's kind of like the book doesn't really matter. You know, he keeps saying, "Oh, it's his life's work, and it's the most important thing."
Oh, sure.
But ultimately, it's like, you know what? It's not that important.
Well, I think it's both. I think what he's visualizing is something he's going to put in his book. But no, you're right. He's realized that he has other things. He has his mother who cares for him, and to this extent. But it never kind of justified. Like, it never for me. What am I trying to say here?
You're still angry that she deleted it and didn't listen to him.
Yeah, like it only happened because she didn't listen to him.
Right.
Like, you know, she's still at fault.
That is true.
You know, she blatantly doesn't listen to him multiple times, and she never takes it seriously.
Right, and we have the whole thing about how, you know, he says she wanted him to be like a doctor or a lawyer or, you know, all these things, and she was never really accepting that he wanted to do this. He wanted to just be a writer.
Yeah, so they both kind of have this arc where they have to learn to go with the current, as it were, to go back to his book title again, which is great. I mean, maybe that makes that stronger, actually, if she is equally nonchalant about, you know, what he's doing. Like, maybe it adds to that theme that she's equally doing the wrong thing on both sides.
Right, both of them are kind of stubborn.
Yeah. But
as much as he's saying, you know, we should just go, you know, with where life takes us, that's kind of the book, but ultimately both of them are quite stubborn people.
Yeah, but I think the problem is, though, is that I think he's got a right to be stubborn in this story.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that.
Like, and maybe this is just because, we sympathise with him way more because we see ourselves on that side of the conversation, but, like, he does have, like if I had a meeting with someone and I had something that I need to prepare for, or let's say, I don't know, like, let's even just go smaller scale, right? Let's say you're in university, right? And it's your final deadline, you've got this big dissertation to hand in, and you've poured all your time into it, and it's all ready to go, and then, for some reason, your mother just, like, don't know, does something to your computer that makes it implode, right? And it's gone. And you told her not to touch the computer because you were working on something. You know, maybe you just went to the bathroom, or maybe you popped out to get something, you know, took a break because you had to go for a walk and clear your head because you've been working so hard. And the mother just completely breaks it.
You have never worked so hard you needed to go for a walk.
That's not true. Happened that one time. So, I was like, no matter how much, okay, right, yeah, sure, she still loves you, she still does a lot of things for you. She still
shouldn't have done that, yeah.
Yeah, she still just screwed up a big part. Like, it's going to take him potentially a long time to, like, get another opportunity like this.
Right, definitely. Yeah. That's what I was saying, like, both of them are really stubborn. Like she's at fault there for not listening. She's at fault for not, like, listening. Like, up till this point where she finally does accept who he is, you know, his whole life, it's kind of been, no, you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, by the sounds of it, and he doesn't want that, and she's never listened to what he wanted. So she kind of is at fault as well, for sure.
As much as I get why it's like an emotional moment, and I get why, like, he realizes, she's done a lot for him. Like, even if she doesn't understand some things, like, she's done the best she can, and that's a nice message. It's good, and the episode does a really good job with that. Ultimately, though, when I actually finish the episode and I look back on it and I actually think about it again, I'm like, no, she's still kind of ruined.
No, you're right. We feel that, but I think for him, it's just like he just decides it's not important to let it go. Go with the current. Stop trying to fight it and just go with it. And to do that, he's got to just kind of go with it and not get angry about it, even though he probably should still be kind of angry.
Yeah. Then again, I get angry when I get angry just at the thought of having to show my mother how to do something on a computer. I once get called into a room with a panic. Something's happened. Something's happened. Something's happened to the screen. I walked
Press the
in.
power button on the monitor.
No. I walked in, glanced, said, "What's wrong? What happened? It shrunk." I clicked maximise and walked back out the room.
I've been there.
Honestly, I think I'm just. I think I hate people who.
It's unforgivable now, isn't it? Like
it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too close to this subject that I can't forgive the mother. I just can't. It's like no.
I'm with you. Just stop it.
No. Admittedly, what's he like forgetting his laptop? He's like his life's work on there. He's got this big meeting coming up.
That was a stupid thing to do. They're big enough in '97.
I mean, I know she's saying how small it is, but no, by our day standards, this big chunky thing probably.
Right, exactly. It was small compared to a desktop computer, sure, but it wasn't small, was it? Still a small briefcase size.
I don't know. I mean, I'm nitpicking a lot just because it's actually a really well told episode. That I think I appreciate that it kept engaging despite the fact that he's on the phone the entire time. And obviously, tying into again the themes of accepting who people are. Like there's one bit of news you see on TV is Ellen DeGeneres who just came out as gay, and like the news reporters talking about accepting the fact she's a lead character in a TV show. Like, should we accept this? And again, it's the idea of acceptance and accepting who people are and going with the flow and not resisting it and try to force people into what you think they should be.
Right. Kind
of idea. And I guess if you boil it down as well, like he's just kind of forcing his mother to actually use a computer, which is just not who she is. She just can't.
Yeah, well, she'll be grateful that she learned.
I don't think she learned anything.
All right, well, maybe he taught her.
That's the worst part. Is you feel like you show someone something, and then next time it's like they never.
That's true.
And then you hear, "Oh, but you grew up with it." I'm like, "No, I didn't. Not really. I'm self-taught, and I didn't get one until I was like 11 or 12. So shut up."
Right. It's not like I had lessons on how to do this. It's just,
no.
You just do it.
Do
you know what it was when he was going double click and he was going very fast click, and you can hear it going click click on the other. You can just hear it through the phone, and you can see his frustration going double click just faster, and then finally you hear it. It's like, oh, thank God. I've never been in a character's head so fully.
I don't think I have either. I don't think I've ever related to a character more in my life than this episode.
It's just...
It's so close to home.
Too real.
Which almost is making it hard to be objective as to how I treat both characters. Because
we can't be impartial, really, because we are this guy.
Yeah. Like, it's oh, man. Well, I've not found out I'm adopted yet, so I suppose I'm not.
Still time.
I suppose I'm not that. Actually, that was actually a really good laugh, actually, is after she brings up, like, oh, I didn't mean to tell you this way, and she's like, oh, by the way, technically you're Pakistani, not Indian. It's like his whole life he's thought he's technically one race, and he's like, wait, what?
He kind of goes, it doesn't matter. We'll deal with that later.
Dear. No, I thought it was a good episode. I thought it did everything really well. Outside of a couple of nitpicks, I thought it was a really well told story. It had a really kind of uplifting ending where he realised what is important. Like, ultimately, okay, right, I'll get past this. We'll get over this. It'll be something I joke about in the future. It'll be a good story to tell, kind of thing. Like it, so it works well. I just can't help but feel like hatred's maybe not quite the right word, but infuriated by his mother in this episode.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Because I'm sure she's lovely. In fact, the point of the episode is they're both human beings, and she's lovely in other ways. She's good at other things. But at the same
time, just click a mouse.
Oh dear.
I'm getting angry just thinking about her.
Alright, that's Room 104, episode 5. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter, @mailed_fuzz. I hope no one over a certain age watches this review, because I feel like we're going to get some mean-spirited comments about how ungrateful we are as people. Well, you know what? Millennials going to millennial. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, why you'd want to after that, I don't know, but head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. Otherwise, though, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?